Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. One of the very few politicians of any party and at any parliament that I actually respect is Fergus Ewing. Fergus Ewing is an honest, decent man. I don't agree with his stance on independence for Scotland, but I respect his views on many things. He is a man of integrity. He's a man who speaks his mind, and he is a hard-working MSP who does represent the people of his constituency, regardless of how they voted. And so when he speaks, I do feel people need to listen. And boy, has he spoken. With the death of Alex Salmond, the SNP hierarchy could not wait. They were falling over themselves to fawn over how great Alex Salmond was and how much they'd miss him. And it was quite sickening, really, when you see the likes of Sturgeon sitting there uttering these platitudes. But they were all at it. Oh, it would be missed. It would be missed. He was a towering genius. He was wonderful. He was this. And they kept on saying these things. Well, it seems I'm not the only one sickened by it. Fergus Ewing himself was watching as the senior SNP figures were all, uttering their devotion, to Salmond. This susurration of ideologue, or whatever that we could just say. They couldn't help themselves. They knew it had to be done. It would have been bad optics otherwise. But he's calling it out. Fergus Ewing says it is absolutely wrong. He's slating it, and he's highlighting the fact that while he was still alive, none of these people ever apologised to him, never begged his forgiveness, never tried to bury the hatchet or reach out, offer a friendly hand or an olive branch or anything like that. And indeed, when Alex Salmond actually went to Nicola Sturgeon and said, look, what's past is past, let's go forward. And he put his hand out, and she rebuffed him, and she insulted him, and she wanted nothing more to do with him. And then he went and died, and she realised how bad this looked. Now, Sturgeon, she did her thing. Blackford did his thing, and Blackford launched in, he loathed him. Flynn criticised him. And yet they're all out there saying, oh, what a great man, blah, 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 bollocks. All these glowing tributes that they're giving. And now they're all rowing it back. Excuse me. They're all rowing back these tributes. Rowing back on the insults they gave to say this. Because they're being shown up for what they are. Nasty pieces of work, really. Now, Ewing, who did actually, to be fair, stay very close with Alex Salmond. He stayed friends with him even after all the difficulties, even after the court cases and after the accusations. Fergus Ewing knew that these accusations were rubbish. He never believed them. And he said at the time, I'm standing with Alex because I can't believe it. He says, I don't believe it. I choose to think that Alex Salmond is a better man. And of course, he won the case and proved he was the better man. But he said, funny how there was no praise for him for the last few years. Only derivation, only rejection. And when he tried to bring Alba in and create this coalition of independents, they kept snubbing him then. They tried to pretend, he says, that he did not exist. They tried to ignore him. If he was in the room, they'd look away. He says, and then you see this praise after he's dead. He says, and that, he said, is disgusting. They never talked about him. They never uttered his name. They would turn away. They spurned him. They rejected his even his existence was questioned. They wanted all traces. The websites, they scanned every website. They went back and they took his image, very Stalin-esque. They took his image out of every website there to make sure that he was a non-person. He ceased to exist. Like I say, this is what Stalin used to do with the people who fell out of favour. They'd be cut from photographs and things. It was pathetic, really. Rather, childish, pathetic and shameful. Now, Sturgeon, who is blamed by many for orchestrating the campaign against Alex Salmond. It's thought maybe, allegedly, she was part of her and Liz Lloyd possibly were part of this alleged plot to fake evidence, to pay witnesses to come forward who lied under oath, maybe perjured themselves, maybe to try and utterly destroy not just the man but his reputation, his legacy, his history, just so she could take control. She was a nasty, poisonous bit of work. I'm not even saying allegedly there. That's my view. And then for her to come out after he died and to say these things, it's just, galling. And, of course, Fergus Ewing is calling this out as well. He's saying, she's trying to do this act of contrition to try and make herself look better, try and make and humanise herself. I get the impression as well, I might be wrong, let me know in the comments what you think about this, but I get the impression that Fergus Ewing is not too much of a fan of Nicola Sturgeon. We all know, don't we? But he said, he was privileged to work with Alex. He says he was privileged to know Alex. He says, and he was privileged to remain his friend right up until his last day. And I think that is a fitting tribute. But they are, I'm going to say, a very nasty party, the SNP, aren't they? The N stands for nasty. They're malevolent. They're cancerous. There is something at the heart of that party that is broken and black. It festers. It's almost a disease. The SNP is more of a disease than a political party. And it eats away at the body of Scotland and destroys everything it touches. Now, Salmond had a lot more friends than people realised, both north and south of the border. I mean, he was at Westminster for quite some time, and they paid a lot of tributes. A lot of people at Westminster recognised him for what he was. David Davis, for example, was very close with him, and said it would be a loss. He said the man was a great orator. He could put into words what people felt, and he could speak for people, not just on independence, but on matters of constituency problems. He was able to work hard with them, and Davis admired him as well. A lot of people admired him. And it's funny that the people who disliked him are the people that everyone dislikes. Sturgeon, Swinney, Fester, all of them, Blackford. It's funny how the people who disliked Alex Salmond are the sort of people that are just loathsome creatures themselves. Well done, Fergus. You've got it. You've nailed it. Thanks very much. Bye.